So here we go. Regardless how many stars you want to give it or how many negative stars you want to give it, it's a match that everyone remembers. And I think and even Meltzer brought this up. I even think the standoff, and now they're showing the replay here of what this tag team match. I think the standoff between Hogan and Andre was one of the bigger moments. To me, it brought it made the match big. Does that make any sense to you when they're looking at each other? And Hogan's looking up to see how big this guy really is. And this big guy is, and we're going to see it here in a minute, this big guy is not backing down at all from Hogan, and Hogan's looking around like, what have I got myself into? I just thought it was one of those moments that some non-action made it really big.
Here we go, Andre the Giant.
In the biggest title match of all time, I want to get your thoughts.
Gene, you will see me now, and I'm going to the ring, and believe me, it's not going to take me too long to come back right in the front of the camera with the World Championship belt around my waist.
Bobby.
Oh, I can feel it. Oh, the adrenaline's going. This man right here is going to make me famous. He's going to become the heavyweight champion of the world, and I'm going to go down the history books as the manager of the world's heavyweight champion. I'm ready. Hogan, you better be ready.
Boy, what a story leading up to this one. Here's two guys just who are almost brothers, you might say. And this is going to turn out to be literally a brother against brother inside. Let's take a look at some of the things leading up to this title match.
It was a good story leading up to this. Don't you think so?
It was. You know, the Piper's Pit segment is probably the most famous, but they're going way back to the beginning when Hogan first won the world title, January 24th, 1984 at Madison Square Garden. We're backstage and we see Andre giving a champagne bath to the new champion and, really helping him celebrate as Hogan's understanding for the first time what champagne in the eyes is really all about. Mm-hmm. And here we see King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd really giving Andre the business, and Hulk Hogan ducks out in a tuxedo. And here he is cleaning house, trying to save his brother Andre. And he's doing it again another time when they had him on Saturday night's main event, this time pinned in the ropes. They were tag team partners here, and you can see Andre is really, really out of shape here. Mm-hmm. But here we are on Piper's Pit, and this is where things will start to look a little different.
WF, I'd like to thank you for recognizing in my book the real champion of superstars all over the world. That's Andre. How about I will produce Andre the Giant right here next week. Can you produce Hogan?
You damn betcha, man.
Look at me when I'm talking to you. I'm here for one reason, to challenge you for a world championship match in the WrestleMania.
Andre, please, no, it's not happening, man. We're friends. We're friends, Andre, please.
You can't believe it? Maybe you'll believe this, Hogan.
Andre, what are you doing, man? You can't leave like this, man. What are you doing, Andre?
Yes or no? Are you or are you not gonna fight him in WrestleMania 3 for the World's Heavyweight Championship? Yes or no?
Yeah!
Man, everything about that is so classic. I love when Andre snatches the shirt. He also tears Hogan's cross, his gold cross off his neck. But his fingernail clips Hogan's chest and a little trickle of blood comes down. And it's a real classic moment where everything's sort of quiet for a minute. And Piper says, "You're bleeding." Here's the promo from right before Hulk Hogan. Here we go.
Pontiac, Michigan recovers, man. I'm glad I snuck in early last night, brother. I didn't realize the interstates, the Pontiac Silverdome was in danger. Not the 90,000 plus on the inside. It's the 90,000 plus on the outside of the Silverdome. Those are the ones I'm worried about, because when I get my hands on that big nasty giant, when he faces the truth, when he feels the wrath of Hulkamania, the day the whole earth is gonna shake, what are those 90,000 plus Hulkamaniacs on the outside gonna think? I'm not worried about the people at the closed circuit. I'm not worried about the people all around the world. They'll see it. But the intensity of Hulkamania, the way it's turned this whole state upside down, the way the whole world's turned upside down, what are they gonna think when the giant hits the ground? He feels the wrath of Hulkamania, and the whole world shakes at my feet.
We could conceivably blow the roof off this great facility, the Silverdome. Right now, let's go back to the booth.
You know, that Piper's Pit where he asked Hulk Hogan, yes or no, are you going to face Andre the Giant at WrestleMania? I thought what sold that was that great reaction shot that they got of the fans when Hogan went yes, and the fans stood up and cheered.
Oh, it's great. But I loved just the over the top. Yeah. Right. I mean, it's so cartoonish, but so fun.
Sure it is. All right.
What a crazy show this is for us to go back and visit.
I know.
How did you watch this the first time? I mean, when it was live in '87. How did you see this?
Wow. You know what? I didn't see it.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't. I went back and I watched it when I went to work there in '89, and wanted to see it. Wanted to go back and watch it. And, you know, I spent hours upon hours going through the WWE, or back then, obviously, WWF library, looking at videotape, trying to figure out, you know, because we had to put together a match or a Coliseum video a month. Best of WrestleMania matches, the best of Hogan, who knows what all we put together. So I spent hours upon hours going back and looking through entire shows. And that was the first time I saw this. So I didn't watch it live, no.
What were you, what was the talk at Crockett when this happened? I mean, when you show up to, you know, the building or whatever, the next time you're in the office, you get everybody together. Next time you're around your compatriots, your coworkers, what are people saying about this?
Well, I think what I first remember is the interview day that we had the Wednesday after this happened, and all the boys were talking about how many fans they had, and you know, there was a certain feeling that, you know, this was obviously making wrestling big into the mainstream. But there was also a feeling that, you know, they didn't, with the exception of maybe Steamboat and Macho Man, that they didn't have a bunch of great workers. And we had the better workers. But we weren't drawing the big money like they were. And there was a realization, I think, with the boys that we were way behind. You know, for forever and a day, Ric Flair would do some promos in the back that would just be, I don't know if any of them ended up going out on all the shows on a nationwide level, but I did many promos where Ric Flair says, people are been trying to get out of New York for years, and I've been trying to get in. And we all knew what he meant.
I mean, do you think Crockett knew what he meant?
I know. I don't think Crockett was paying attention to it. I think it ended up being on local promos. Maybe Jackie saw it, but Jimmy Crockett wasn't back there, nor David was back there listening to what Flair said. And it wasn't on TV where Jimmy Crockett was, you know, when we taped TV and Flair would come out and do interviews, Jimmy was in the truck, or David was in the truck, and they would see what happened. But those local promos where we just did one local promo after one local promo after one local promo, they never saw that. And I guess the word never got back to him.
How great is this entrance here? Iconic. All the trash coming in.
Yeah.
What about this outfit that Bobby's wearing?
Sharp.
Bobby has gone on record as saying that his payday from this show helped set him up for retirement.
Doesn't surprise me.
What was your biggest payday? Single show.
My biggest payday was $15,000, and that was for doing a video game.
Fucking A.
Yeah. That's after I did my first video game for EA Sports.
Yeah.
I got a check for $15,000, which was $5,000 more, and I made my first year in baseball. The entire year. Which I don't want to get into this too deeply here, and I like to get into this match a little bit more, but I know you, like all of us, saw or either saw or heard about the John Oliver thing about Vince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's cover it in a minute. First, let's enjoy this Hulk Hogan introduction.
Okay.
Silverdome about to explode here as the Hulkster greets, and these 93,000 plus greet him. You're looking at the greatest professional athlete in the world today, the world's heavyweight champion.
For right now, Gorilla, he may not be a few moments from now. Let me run it down. Hogan, 6'8", 294, neck 21, chest 58, biceps and a phenomenal 24 inches, forearms 18. Wrists 9 inches, hands 13 and a half, thighs 30 and a half, calves 20, the tail of the tape.
A phenomenal individual. And Hulkamania, look at it, Jess. It's alive and running well.
You got 93,173 fans standing on their feet for this one, Gorilla, and I hope my voice holds up.
It's holding up just fine, Jess. And look at the Hulkster. What an unbelievable individual he is, and what a representative as the world's heavyweight champion.
This is the biggest match in the history of professional wrestling.
Oh, that's my line, Jess. The fuck. So this stare down to me was, even though, Meltzer, I think we've already covered it. Meltzer didn't think there was much about it. I love this.
I agree. It's great stuff, man.
Yeah, it is great. Match may have not been the best, but it was great stuff. Hey, the only thing I want to say about the John Oliver thing is that as much as you may think that I'm bullshitting you here, I did not realize the boys weren't covered on insurance. I thought they were all covered now. So that kind of surprised me. So that's the only thing I want to say about that.
I mean, I think people want more than that now that you've teed it up here.
No, I was shocked. I thought they were covered, but I listen, it's hard. Well, look at this. And he almost beat him right there. 1, 2. Heenan thought he won it.
By the way, they would use that storyline for a long time because it was a slow count. It didn't look like he kicked out right away. It did look like if you actually count, he had him for 3.
Mm-hmm.
And they would use that as a reason to have rematches and, for their feud continuing, that it should have been over right then and there. But of course it wasn't.
Right. I think they got as much out of Andre as they could in this match. I really do, because of, how he was and how his health was at that time and his career was on the way down. So anyway, back to the John Oliver thing. They have trouble. They say the problems that football's having right now, more problems than anything else, is getting insured because of concussion syndrome and all of that. So maybe it's not easy to insure pro wrestlers anymore. I don't know, but I was surprised that they're uninsured.
I love the shot here. They would shoot Andre from below, shoot him up. Right. It made him look even bigger.
Mm-hmm. Look at all the flash bulbs going off.
That's crazy. I was thinking about that when they were first, announcing everybody. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's funny, in the world that we lived in at that time in pro wrestling. On the inside, we talked about who is a great worker, and Hulk Hogan wasn't a great worker. But for somebody that a lot of people felt wasn't a great worker, how did this all happen?
Right.
Bruce Pritchard said many times that Hulk Hogan, he told me this, that Hulk Hogan was the best worker in the business.
Yeah.
Why? because he drew the most money.
Yeah. He says that, Hogan told him once, the best worker in the business is the guy who makes the most money. So that makes Vince the best worker and I'm the second best worker.
Right. And if you think about it, what drew this house, right? Hogan and Andre did.
Without question.
Thank you. So I just think that for all his lack of work, as they said, it was pretty damn cool. And Andre is moving slow and he can't do much of anything here.
Yeah, he's hurting.
Yeah, he is.
You ever hear Hogan's story about this match where he didn't know if he was going to win or not?
Oh yeah, that the fact that if Andre wanted to beat him, right?
Yeah.
Andre could have beat him. Yeah, I've heard that story. And he wasn't sure during the day that Andre was going to do the job, right?
That's right.
It's a great story. It really is. So I don't know what goes into Meltzer, and I'm making too much out of what Dave says here, I know, but what goes in for Meltzer calling the match a minus 4.5 star match? Is it the work rate? Is it the storyline that's building up to it? Is the finish? I don't know. I mean, what goes in?
He doesn't like slow, plodding big man moves. He wants more action, less of a.
Okay, I get that. But the fans are into this, and they're into this.
Exactly right. I swear, I've always felt the same thing. Like, I heard an interview a long time ago with Michael Hayes when he was on Steve Austin's podcast, back when Steve was podcasting, and he said, "Man, the magic in wrestling is to get them to stand up and get them to sit back down." Mm-hmm. And you know, and once I really heard that and understood what he meant, now whenever I watch wrestling, especially when I'm live in the crowd, I look around and I see when people are standing up and then sitting back down, standing up and sitting back down. I mean, if they're not doing anything, then how much do you really have them? But when they're just going bananas, it's working. So
yeah,
I judge whether or not something's good or whether or not something's over based on how the crowd reacts. And if they're into it, then fuck it. It worked.
Sure. I think this whole storyline works. And when you got Andre the Giant at this age, and you don't expect him to flip and fly around like a Ricky Steamboat. But you're expecting a guy that, you know, Hogan's always gone after the big guys, and this is the biggest one he's had to face. I like the whole storyline behind this. I really do. Now, here's the bear hug. Hogan doing a great job of selling it. Now you see, Conrad, you get the bone of the forearms. You get it under those floating ribs there, and you pull up, and you force the air out of the lungs, and you compact those ribs, and you pull in on the spine. It's so painful. Hogan, with his feet, trying to gather some balance and keep the leverage off the spine, but he can't do it because Andre is so big and so strong. And the lights just went out on that side. So see, you can make it believable. You really can.
It was too long of a bear hug, though.
Yeah, but I don't know what's the proper length for a bear hug. I don't know.
Fuck off with that.
I don't know what's the proper length for a bear hug. Is it 2 minutes? Is it 30 seconds?
Let's call Lois and ask her how long she likes it. Did I send you that funny meme of a farmer this week?
No, you didn't. You still haven't sent me the number. You still haven't sent me the number of our after party person either.
Well, it's not how you think it is.
It's not?
No.
Well, I'm disappointed now. I was excited at one time, but I'm disappointed now.
You'll be fine.
Okay.
You don't think?
I don't know.
So the funny meme.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm going to hell for this, but it's just hilarious to me. Well, maybe I'm not.
Yeah, you've listened. You've been headed there a long time ago.
Yeah. Just a picture of a farmer standing in a field, got his farmer outfit on like he likes it. And above him it says, "When you nut in under 2 minutes," and she asks, "Is that it?" You see the picture of the farmer in the field, got his hat like he likes it, his overalls, his flannel shirt. And then underneath him it says, "It ain't much, but it's honest work." It is the most Tony Schiavone meme ever. It murdered me. Cause I can just imagine you climbing off some poor girl.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And you hit her with, "It ain't much, but it's work."
Climbing off some poor girl.
After the after party, you're like, "Conrad said I got to get somebody pregnant."
Oh God.
Why is that so funny to me?
Okay. So they just broke the,
Yeah, I fell asleep.
No, it was okay. He fought himself out, man. Look, Andre the Giant's got you in a bear hug, man. Biggest guy in wrestling.
Let me be clear. I love Hulk Hogan. He can do no wrong. Okay. I know that doesn't make me popular, but I'll defend it. I don't give a shit. I was a little Hulkamaniac when I was a kid. Sure. I'm not talking about Terry Bollea. I'm not talking about any of the bullshit reasons you don't like Hulk Hogan. Right. Hulk Hogan is the reason I was a wrestling fan. So he'll always be like He-Man and G.I. Joe to me.
Sure.
And I was never an Andre guy, but my great friend, Mr. Cole Kubelik, he is a huge Andre fan, which I don't really get. I don't understand how anybody's really an Andre guy.
Well, Cole's an Auburn guy too, isn't he? Didn't he play at Auburn?
Yeah. So he ain't got a taste for shit.
No, he doesn't. He's a fucking cheater.
In fairness, he went to Auburn because they gave him a scholarship. Just like you're a Bulldog because they pay you. But if they quit paying you, magically you like the Bulldogs a little less. You can be quiet on that. We know the truth.
So you were talking about Cole Kubelik, and all of a sudden it came back to me for some ungodly reason.
Of course.
So he's always an Andre Giant fan?
Yeah.
Cole was, yeah. There you go. Pull it out, so to speak.
Can you imagine if he gave him a package pile driver right there on the concrete? That's what I needed. Oh,
that was pretty shitty.
Oh my God. Here we are saying, why was Meltzer so mean? And then you see that and you're like, oh, okay. That's why. I understand.
Right.
This is our bad.
Dave, you're right.
We're sorry.
Minus 4.5.
Fuck. No, but here's what I want to happen. I want Hogan to get Andre out on the apron and give him a pile driver on the apron. Maybe you could pick him up and do a power bomb into the turnbuckles. Drag him over to the post and do a figure 4 around the ring post.
Look at the fans go fucking nuts when he hulks up.
You know what they're looking for. They're ready for that Meltzer driver. They need Brother Ruda to come hold him, and then Hogan will do a flippity-do, spike his ass.
Here he comes. Flash bulbs, people standing.
Here we go.
There it is. Holy shit.
Look at the flash bulbs.
Yeah. Look at, and just a slam and the leg drop.
Here's what's crazy to me about that. Don't you just assume with Hulk Hogan that you're going to get the standard throw a punch, block it, throw a punch, into the ropes, big boot, leg drop?
Yeah.
But instead it was just body slam, leg drop.
Right.
But that was the body drop or the body slam that, I mean, it's probably the most famous body slam ever. Is it not?
Oh, without question. Now they've got Bob Uecker in the ring. Did Uecker interview him after? Yeah.
Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion, Hulk Hogan.
Listen to the ovation.
Just introed him, okay? Sure, everybody gets out of the ring. That was one thing he did. Everyone got out of the ring because it was Hulk's domain.
Hogan must pose.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to do a fair amount of it. Meltzer would write, strictly from wrestling standpoint, as big shows go, this doesn't rank near the top. Last year's WrestleMania, while not nearly as successful financially and in many ways a worse promotion, actually provided more good matches. The Bulldogs match with Valentine Beefcake was almost good as this show's Savage Steamboat highlight. However, the Funk's match with JYD and Santana was better than Piper Adonis, and Steamboat Hernandez was also better than almost anything on the show. It really can't touch the Starrcade show for action, except for possibly the 84 show. As for Texas Stadium's original show in 84 with Flair and Kerry Von Erich title change, while this show did not have the emotion as a product, it was infinitely better, and the wrestling was much better as well. So what's next? Well, Roddy Piper will be gone for a while. Andre and Junk Food appear to be history as well, and judging by their performances, none too soon. Adonis and Beefcake is the obvious feud, and my guess is it will be disappointing. Adrian didn't draw well with Piper, so how can they expect too much with Beefcake? Maybe Duggan versus Sheik or Volkov. Anything higher than fourth from the top, and that won't help. Valentine and Bravo versus the Rougeaus, strictly prelim material. Jake and Honky Tonk, they did a good job of keeping it alive, but I don't see it as headline material because I don't think people take Honky Tonk Man as a main eventer. Haynes and Hernandez, obviously they'll continue. Maybe they'll hit the chain match series this spring. Bulldogs and Hart Foundation, too many intangibles to worry about here, but no matter what, it ain't main event material. Reed and Santana, certainly not. So he's just running down why everything sucks and nothing can be a main event moving forward. But, you know, in the end, it drew huge business. He would say the only headline feud I see is Savage versus Steamboat, and it has already peaked. And Hogan versus anyone. It's almost like in sports vernacular, it's a rebuilding season. They've got a month off to get it off the ground.
Yikes. He was just completely shitting on everything here. Yeah, you're right. He had a hard on for Vince and the WWF and Hogan. And you know, for some of the fans, this part of it, this posing and
that's what they want.
That's right. That's exactly right. This was the big deal.
By the way, they didn't run anything until April 23rd, and that was a TV taping in Worcester, Mass. And the 24th, they did a taping in New Haven. And regular house show started the next day in Buffalo and Baltimore. And then they did a Saturday night's main event in South Bend, Indiana, in April 28th. So they took nearly a month off, 3 weeks and change. Pretty cool of them to do that.
Well, they were all the boys were lavishing in the big payday too. Did you ever hear any numbers of paydays? What any number anybody got for this? You mentioned that Heenan, made his retirement on this one payday. Do you ever hear any numbers?
We need to do some research on that.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what the payday was.
I know that Jake has said that there were boxes of cash from the merchandise. Like the merch guys literally just had like big boxes just filled to the brim with cash.
Yeah.
Just from the merch.
And I'm sure most of them were the yellow and the red.
By the way, it's worth mentioning Hulk Hogan still has that title in his hand. You can see it at his beach shop in Florida. You should go see it. He signed the front of it, which I maybe wouldn't have done. I love that they jack up the, his platform so fans can see him a little more and get some pictures. And it's still sort of in vogue for some fans to throw trash, even at Hogan.
I slammed him, he says, as he drifts out of sight.